Hi, everyone. Persuasion. You have been doing it all along. If you look back on our In the News presentations and our information presentations, you'll see some speakers, not all, were very persuasive because they were influencing us, right? They were promoting certain things to do, to use, recommendations. That's what persuasion is. We have been doing it our entire lives, right? We're always cajoling people, trying to not so much get our own way, but figure out a negotiation, so getting our point of view across. So when you look at the handout for persuasion, it'll sound very similar to writing that you've done for your English classes. You read the chapter 16 on persuasion, and you start thinking about your own influences and what matters to you. Always with your presentations, find topics you care about. We've had the evidence to see how well that works when someone is really connected. Persuasion comes from the Greek word meaning to believe. So you have to believe in what you're advocating, promoting, trying to inspire, right? Use those active verbs and you'll say, oh, I know what to do. On the handout, at the very bottom, I say, don't forget Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And why I say that is because no one will be convinced of anything unless they think there's something in it for them. So you look at the needs. I need a physiological need, the very first one. Maslow said if that one is not reasonably satisfied, you cannot go up to the next one. And the hierarchy is symbolic of universal needs we all have. So first one, physiological. A need for good sleep, good food, good nutrition, good air. You could easily think of so many topics that connect to that, right? From environmental concerns to diet to exercise to mental health awareness, and we've had presentations on those topics. So you've seen them before, you just haven't thought about them as a persuasive presentation yet. Okay, next need, the need for safety and security, why we should wear good footwear when we run or have fire alarms in our houses, right? Or feel cozy in your clothing or good tires on your car. All about safety and security. Right now, with COVID-19 pandemic, we do not feel too safe or secure. So more reasons to wear our masks or to study the science. All of that would satisfy the second need for Maslow. So now your physiological is satisfied, safety and security. Third one, need to love and belong, for friends, to join different groups. Loneliness is a big problem right now for many people. How can we safely connect to others? With yard visits, right? Safe distance yard visits, being very protective, more Zoom type groups for membership, getting involved, community action type of work, donating your time. I'm a big donator. I believe in so many hours a week. I should be doing something for others. So get involved in the nonprofits. And there's a lot of need for that right now, from food distribution to clothing to helping people pay their rents. There's a lot of different programs. So feeling that you feel like love for others comes back and forth, reciprocal, right? Then the fourth need is self-mastery, self-esteem. Again, doing something for others, learning a new language, studying a new video game to play, right? Mastery is very important to our psychology and to our emotional needs as human beings. And then the last is self-actualization, giving back, right? Charity, join the Marines. No, don't join the Marines unless you want to. But they say be all you can be, right? And that's what self-actualization is, given to different charity groups. For years, I was a big sister. And why was I a big sister? Was I complete within myself? Well, my needs were met, right? I had enough food. I have enough safety and security. I had love in my life. I felt mastery, and I could give back. So, Maslow hierarchy of needs. Aristotle said, and we read it in the chapter, you need logos, which is logic for any persuasive argument. It has to have logic to it. It has to make sense, right? Then ethos, it has to have credibility or evidence that this is true. Either you've done it yourself or you know others who have, or you use research to support it. And then pathos, the emotions. And just like Maslow said, you're not going to convince anyone of anything unless there's a need met. Well, Aristotle says you got to go for the emotions. Fear, love, right? Anger, all fear-based. Why do I floss my teeth every morning? Fear I'm going to lose my teeth. Fear of bad gums, right? Fear does not have to be a negative. Sometimes it's a great motivational fact. And oftentimes you'll find your persuasive arguments or presentations are going to have multiple emotions being connected. So it's real human. And on the somewhere I wrote, make sure in your introduction you put the call to action in your conclusion. When you read all the different steps that they outline in chapter 16, and they talk about even Monroe's sequence, right? The last one is always let your audience know what they're going to do with all this information. So I call it the call to action. So in the conclusion, say, okay, now that you've listened to why I think you should go to a certain movie, why? It's going to help you with your blood pressure, it's for entertainment, it'll get you out of your emotional rut we've all been in lately. So I recommend that movie. So let your audience know what to do with the information. Changing a behavior, changing an attitude, buying a product, going to do a certain type of lifestyle, go to a Buddhist temple and meditate. What do you want us to do with it? So that's the call to action. I'm trying to do this quickly, because I know my videos are historically and traditionally very long, and people are, I don't want to listen to that. So read chapter 16. Look at the handout. I have my computer up now, but I don't think you can see the handout. But the handout is a summation of the chapter. That's really what it was. What I see is the key ideas. You've done persuasion before. You've written many persuasive essays for English classes. You're inundated by persuasion. A persuasive presentation is an information speech, but there is a bias. The speaker wants to have an influence on the audience. It's not just information for information's sake. It's information for some change. And it could be lighthearted. It doesn't have to be all serious. Maybe you want us to go camping on our next vacation once COVID-19 is over and we can go on vacations. Or maybe you want us to, I don't know, try a certain recipe, right? We had recipes in our information speeches. Maybe it's a recipe we want to do. Maybe it's a certain exercise program. Maybe it's what you should do for Christmas presents, and be creative and make certain things that are like very personable for the person, very personal, right? You identify who the person is and how you want to match them personality with the gift and not spend a lot of money. That could be a good persuasion. Persuasive for me, when I was in your shoes, when I was a college student, I made food gifts for everyone. Homemade fudge, homemade brownies, cookies, and it was appreciated, right? I stopped doing that in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s thinking, I've worked full time, I can buy a gift. I think I'm going to go back to that. I think I'm going to go back to homemade gifts again, because who needs another thing in their house? They don't. Your gift is saying, I respect you, I love you, I want to honor you, I want to give you something. I want to celebrate the season. And some of you may not celebrate Christmas, but it is coming. Some of you might celebrate Hanukkah. That's coming too. My boyfriend is Jewish, and I make sure he gets 8 gifts. I was just thinking today where I'm going to get that 8th gift from. I wrapped them all up. I think Hanukkah starts on December 10th and goes into December 18th. Maybe it's Kwanzaa. Maybe you're not a holiday person, but maybe this is this time of year because you're excited that it's going to be 2021 soon, and maybe there are no gifts, and that's fine too. Whatever you do to celebrate, you can do a persuasive speech about it. I hope you're well. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're happy as happy can be in a global pandemic. Like I've said before, I experience multiple emotions a day. I'm never unaware of what we're going through, and yet I'm optimistic for the future because I have you. I have the future right here. You are the students, you are our future, and you're going to live through this. And there are lessons for everybody. And I hope you're voting on Tuesday, or hope you already voted. Okay, I'm going to shut this off. No, I'm going to shut you off. That can wait. Hope everything is good. Persuasion. We've already been doing it as a collective. We really have. So one more time, a little more formal this time. Say, this is my persuasive presentation. But again, think of what you already know, what you care about. Make it identify with who you are. Thank you, class.